Spring is finally here, and the land is shaking off its slumber and brimming with life. The wild goats have returned after vanishing when the fires swept through last year. The mornings are still cool and blanketed in fog. The plants seem to know that the worst is behind us and stretch eagerly towards the sun's warmth. A few weeks ago we marked our daughter's birthday, and although she is not here with us, her presence is felt in every corner of this land.
Just mixing some garden soil with some manure and some compost.
Paul's mum and stepdad, always so thoughtful, sent money for flowers to honour her memory, so today we're planting them into the ground. And it's not just the act of digging into the soil, it's something deeper, a way of holding on, of letting love take root. So we've mixed the soil with the mushroom compost and cow manure from our neighbour's farm, enriching the earth before we prepare the flowers for their new home. Life here is humble. We live in a shed, a temporary shelter for our larger dreams. We imagine the house that we will one day build, a place that will carry the spirit of every stone, every beam, every effort we've poured into this land. And the welcome swallows have made themselves at home, sleeping on our shed doors at night, waiting for the insects that swarm around the lights. One flew inside today, a tiny messenger of change. When the swallows linger, the frost no longer threatens, and I know it's safe to think about getting my seedlings out into the ground soon. The sweet peas, a gift from Kathy, have sprung up in wild abundance. I didn't expect every seed to germinate, yet here they are, thriving beyond expectation. We also have to plant out our Brahma, pumpkin, chilli, cucumbers. There's a loofah there that Lana, our permaculture teacher, gave us, and our raspberry. The lipstick maple has shed its winter bareness, its branches now adorned with vibrant green leaves. And I can't help but laugh at myself when I think about the melons I planted a few weeks ago. I don't think they're melons at all, and it'll be a surprise what they turn out to be. So obviously the seeds of the Chinese red spinach have spread everywhere because they're starting to emerge and pop up in the most unlikely of places. Our plum tree is budding for the first time. In time it will bear fruit, delicate and sweet, a promise of rewards yet to come. The loquat and mulberry trees stand strong, their leaves full and vibrant. Mulberries have become quite an ally on this land because they have that fire resistance. It's a real gift in this kind of place where flames are a constant memory. I've planted some grama seeds in an old compost pile out the back, protecting them behind a crate. I'm just using these to keep the wildlife at bay. But today we focus on Willow's flowers. Digging the holes feels like an act of reverence. Each scoop of soil a connection to something greater. That soil looks a bit softer. We soak the ground with a mixture of worm tea and Nutritech BAM, ensuring the roots will find everything they need to thrive.
Yep.
The flowers slide from their plastic pots into the earth, their stems delicate but determined. Paul got these flowers from the local Indigenous nursery and they didn't have their labels on them, so I'm not even sure what these flowers are called or what their proper name is. And once planted, we cover them with sugarcane mulch, locking in moisture to help them through the relentless heat of summer. We also plant the Grevillea juniperina, Prostrate Form, a hardy, sprawly ground cover with fine, dense foliage. Its red, spidery flowers add bursts of colour almost year-round, and I can already picture the bees and birds flocking to it. This evergreen is perfect for our climate, tolerating everything from frost to the relentless dry summer. And as we dig, we pull granite rocks from the ground. These stones, scattered across the property, hold the stories of the fires and storms this land has endured. We chose a sunny spot for this Grevillea. We're hoping that this area will hold just enough moisture but drain well. At its full spread, it will stretch 2 to 3 metres wide, creating a lush, natural carpet, though it stays low, only reaching about 40 centimetres in height. Its vibrant flowers bring life and movement to the garden. Once in the ground, we water it deeply and lightly mulch around the base. In the seasons to come, I'll trim it after it blooms to keep its shape compact, but for now, I leave it to settle in and grow. It's a fitting addition to this patch of earth. Resilient, steadfast, and quietly beautiful, much like the land itself.
Give it water first.
This is a good day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many.
We carefully plant the Brachyscome microcarpa, also known as the native forest daisy. This dainty perennial herb stands modestly at just 40 centimetres tall, yet its mauve flowers bring a cheerful charm to the garden. It's a hardy little thing, frost tolerant and adaptable, thriving in well-draining soil and enjoying everything from full sun to part shade. As we nestle it into the ground, I think about how it will brighten the space with its delicate blooms. Despite its small stature, it holds its own against the larger shrubs and vines. A touch of care, a bit of mulch, and the occasional watering, and it will reward us with flowers that seem to dance in the slightest breeze. This is the kind of plant that quietly fits into its surroundings, adding beauty without fuss, and thriving in the ebb and flow of nature's cycles. Right by the big tree near the shed, we planted a climbing vine with soft white flowers. I imagined it wrapping itself around the trunk, turning it into something even more beautiful and alive. The soil is hard in places, roots, rocks, and time has made their mark, but we find a spot for everything. So you might remember my dear friend Christy from some of my previous videos. She has contacted me to let me know that she's got something extraordinary for us. Her son Lincoln and her and a partner went halves in a house, and on the property was 6 massive greenhouses. They're enormous, and Christy has said that she is going to gift them to us. So bringing them here is going to be no small task. We need to dismantle them all one by one and then transport them piece by piece down here. But the thought of having them standing on this land just fills me with a sense of hope. So I'm so excited for that to happen soon. The Billardiera candida is a climbing plant that typically grows like a scrambling vine and can reach a height of 2 to 4 meters when given a structure to climb. The white flowers attract pollinators such as bees and butterflies, while the berries are a food source for birds and small mammals. It goes well with ground covers or shrubs such as Grevillea for a natural garden look. It's also good for ground cover if unsupported. These beautiful little white flowers in spring and summer are often followed by edible berries. The berries are greenish yellow when ripe and can be enjoyed raw or cooked. The vine has soft green leaves and they provide a lush natural appearance. And this vine prefers temperate to cool climates, and it's a perennial, so it should last for a long time, hopefully. Needs moderate water, so you need to keep the soil moist but not waterlogged, especially during hot weather and establishment. It's not a heavy feeder, but you can apply native plant fertiliser in spring to encourage healthy growth and flowering. Avoid high phosphorus fertilisers, they can harm Australian natives. You can also prune lightly after flowering to maintain shape and control its spread. You can remove those dead or damaged stems as needed. We also plant a Raspberry Tulameen against the fence, giving it a sturdy support to climb as it grows. This variety is known for its bright red fruit. They're juicy and sweet and generously sized. Its fruiting season stretches from summer through autumn, offering months of delicious harvests. The soil here is kept moist but never waterlogged, a balance that raspberries seem to thrive in. To help it along, we apply a layer of mulch, sugarcane in this case, to conserve moisture during the hot months and to encourage a better fruit yield. I'll need to prune back the old flowered canes to ground level after they finish producing, a task that will keep the plant healthy and vigorous, and any stray suckers that emerge between the plants will be removed as well, directing the plant's energy where it's needed most. For now, the raspberry plant is small and vulnerable, so we'll protect it with a makeshift guard of chicken wire to keep the wildlife at bay. As the season wears on, I imagine the promise of these canes covered in glistening red fruit, a small reward for the care and patience we invest now. I found a fat caterpillar nibbling on our calendula flowers, and there's also massive holes in our kale and bok choy, which was nearly ready to harvest. It's a reminder that this land is a shared space, one where every creature takes what it needs. Still, we carry on, planting more trees along the boundary near the chimneys. The soil here is hard, but the effort feels worthwhile. After all, these trees will one day stand tall, marking this place as ours. Lunch comes as a welcome pause. We notice the eastern rosellas have returned to the nest in the old post again, just as they did last spring. It's funny how the patterns of life out here begin to feel familiar, like old friends returning for another visit. Three eggs?
3 eggs there and mummy there.
Puppy. No. Watch out for snakes.
Oh yeah.
What?
Another nest as well.
Is there?
Yeah. Oh, well, looks like it was. There's maybe broken eggs in there, or
The rain gauge we've had for a year has broken. Paul decides to have a look inside to see if it looks like it can be easily fixed. to rain in the trough.
Every time it goes tick 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 tick, it oh dear puppy. Well, you can't reach.
Oh my gosh, really? Puppy, it's slippery in there. It's probably very hot up that end, Truffles. We see more and more types of different animals here every day. Butterflies dance in the sunlight, their wings a fleeting burst of colour. And beneath the old pepper tree, wild mushrooms have sprouted. The more diversity we're creating out here, the healthier our land is becoming. Later in the day, I turn to a gift from Lana, our permaculture teacher, rhubarb. I set to work baking a pie, the scent of it filling the air as it cooks in the outdoor barbecue. By then the sun is low and I kick off my shoes, resting my feet after the long day. When the pie is ready, we pair it with rich ice cream and pouring cream. It's a small indulgence, but one that feels earned. The kangaroos come as the light fades, their silhouettes moving like shadows across the horizon. Truffles, our ever-curious dog, watches them but knows better than to give chase now. And as the sun dips low, we drift into sleep, the rhythm of the land carrying us into dreams.